With masks becoming a semi-permanent accessory, our ability to comprehend others' emotions has been severely restricted. This lack of meaningful interpersonal communications has been coupled with an inadvertent simulation of facial paralysis, which has helped in the destigmatization of such conditions. Coupled with nonverbal communications being most suited for interacting with dementia patients, we believe that having a mask that combines fashion and emotional displays offers a unique solution to our reduced interpersonal communications, helping destigmatize facial paralysis and improve communications with dementia patients. We also aim to ensure such a mask remains functional, serving to repel airborne pollutants. The result is an elegant product that serves multiple needs in a compact deliverable. The e-face qualifies for the best wearable hack, along with the smartest non-smart hack. The former due to it being a face mask, and the later due to the lack of AI or learning-based approach in its final deliverable.
E-face is an electronic face mask that allows the users to display and flaunt their unique charms and expressions while wearing a mask. It contains a variety of pre-programmed expressions that can be cycled through with the press of a button. We have utilized an 8x8 grid of LEDs, which allowed us to mimic not only standard expressions, such as a smile, but also a variety of other non-standard expressions, such as a question mark. We have also not compromised in any way in repelling air pollutants. Attached to the side of the mask is a fan assistant filter module, complete with an additional LED so that the users can express their emotions further. We have also put into consideration the environmental impact of our devices. Masks have contributed to a significant amount of waste during the COVID-19 pandemic. As such, the structured components of the mask have been created out of recycled material in order to reduce the environmental impact of our product. We initially attempted to model the entire thing in CAD, however, we quickly realized that due to the user-focused nature of the design and the number of tweaks we would need to be ergonomic, a different approach would be required. Our pivoted approach was therefore two-pronged, the analog physical method and the digital design method. For the major shape of the mask, we'd use the analog physical method, cutting a piece of cardboard to stitch together into a shape, using tape and additional layers of cardboard to provide rigidity. Some components we designed were ideal for CAD and 3D printing. The mount for the filter, fan, and ring LEDs were ideal candidates for this design, as the design did not depend on ergonomics but mostly on precise dimension and assembly. After the structure was completed, we had to connect the electrical components. The major limitation of this build was, as is in all wearable technology, the power. Before we ordered these components, we calculated the power requirements and came up with two 9-volt batteries as the power source. After all the parts were printed, we went about the process of soldering and assembling the components. All electronics are then controlled by an Arduino Nano mounted to the mask. It is responsible for programming the LED lights and responding to the user inputs through the button on the chin.
We ran into quite a few issues during the initial and later stages in our design. In the early stages, we were ambitious and hoping to come up with a design that would incorporate both a mask and our component, both equipped with LEDs for emotional expression. However, we realized quickly that doing both would be too much for our time frame and decided that focusing on a mask would better accommodate our design for safety factor. Another major issue that came up in the prototyping phase was the creation of the mask frame. Due to the complexity of the model, it quickly became apparent that it would be far more efficient for us to pivot to physical prototyping with tape and cardboard rather than using CAD modeling for flexibility and adjustment purposes. What we were most proud of during this design was our ability to quickly and successfully pivot away from our initial idea once we found it infeasible given our current time frame. Our flexibility during our design process in this instance, as well as during the physical prototyping phase, was what allowed us to successfully deliver a prototype we are proud of in the end. Furthermore, we were able to reverse engineer custom LED designs and patterns utilizing pre-existing libraries, and that resulted in some pretty cute emotion faces that we are also very proud of.
One of the main takeaways was effective teamwork. We divided the project according to expertise and provided aid when needed. We also built upon our research skills by looking for code examples and libraries for the Arduino to work with the LED panels and strips. Finally, we were able to practice and refine our hardware and design skills by prototyping with IoT devices and CADing with Fusion 360. Here are some potential future steps we could follow to further improve the expressivity, usability, and reliability of eFace. Finding a better power source, such as rechargeable batteries for long-term usability. Utilizing sensors to detect facial expressions behind the mask and displaying them real-time on the LED panel. And lastly, adding eyes to the facial expressions by using some sort of eye cover or goggle.